All right. Welcome, everybody. This is a little bit different. We're going to do like a blast from the past, still discussing, excuse me, still discussing the whole disappearance of Sebastian Rogers and this addition, the curious behavior, the oddities of SF investigates, but not his influence on the current case with Sebastian Rogers. Wanted to go back in time to the heartbreaking case of Kylie Rodney. She went missing. She was later found trapped in her car at the bottom of the lake, exactly where the last phone ping was. Um, and SF, curiously, SF was involved there too. And again, he was really manipulative. Um, he presents himself in a very odd way. He went on Zap Girl's channel, and it's fascinating to watch. So I'm going to be quiet now, and I'm going to start the recording, um, and let's see where this goes. I'm not going to stop. Let it play all the way through, and then we can have this discussion after it has finished playing. Let me make sure we've got the sound up. Let's see. And yeah, that is Ryan Upchurch. He's a recording artist. And he got really involved, interested in the Kylie Rodney case. So he's on this panel. So yeah. So I will be quiet now.
It's
Hey, how
you.
are you?
It's really you. Okay, I wasn't sure because we can't see you in chat.
No, I had some people texting me saying that, suggesting I join, I guess. And I heard you mention that you'd reached out to me before and hadn't heard back. I never got that message. If you did, I apologize.
No, you got back, but I asked you to come on the show. You just didn't answer the show, but you did get back to me. You sent me a nice message on Twitter. But I said, hey, if you want to come on, but you just didn't mention coming.
Oh, yeah. So I was, until today is the first time I've really spoke since, it happened. I just kind of, because I've been dealing with the family and stuff. So I just figured today I'd give some input what I may, know to kind of.
Yeah, what do you know, man? I heard you were, okay, I was getting emails and I didn't want to say anything because I couldn't verify it, but I was getting emails that, tell me if this is true or not, that you were on another channel verifying that was indeed Jagger. Is that true?
No, no, that's getting taken completely out of context. And
okay.
So just so you know, so there's a group out there that follows me from case to case to case, and this is all they do. They try to describe me. What I said was,
wow. So he's
we were at the recovery
blaming
site,
other people for
Doug from
his
Adventures with Purpose
BS. Wow.
took us off to the side. Now, keep in mind, we had, the reason I told this is because we had no idea that he was mic'd, that it was really a hot set, and it was being filmed and everything.
Again,
So
blaming
he
it
took us to
on
the side
Adventures
and
with
he
Purpose.
told us the story about the tow truck driver or the service driver. And I know that they've said that we want to keep, this person's identity private, even though they've described Jagger 2 at sea. But to us, what I disclosed, because this is the truth, is he said that they showed tow truck driver a photo of Jagger, and the tow truck driver said that's him. Now, just so you know, so everybody's clear, I do not buy the story. So I'm not confirming it. I'm saying that is what they told us, that he confirmed it. Wow. I'm not saying that they lied about it. I just don't.
I'm so sorry. What story are you on?
No, well, when the Adventures of Purpose came out with that video, obviously they were microphoned, but Doug and everybody, we had no idea when we showed up there, that we were being recorded. So what I just told everybody was, hey, listen, in that conversation, they did say that Jagger was the guy. And I said to everybody was like, I think everybody needs to like dial this back on Jagger a little bit, because nothing's been proven, like, I mean,
so
I
they
just think
showed the tow truck or the roadside assistant guy, they showed him the picture of Jagger and he confirmed that he said that was him.
that's what they said, that that's what the story, how it was told to us. It was slightly different, than what was in the video. It was, he said that the tow truck driver said that he felt that she was drugged and it was completely incoherent. He did say the seatbelt thing, like, has been disclosed, like she couldn't figure out how to work. She asked how to work the seatbelts, but he said that he started filming her because he felt that she had been like roofied or something. But there's some important parts about that are, I was staying in the same hotel as the FBI card team, right?
Oh my God! And here we go.
Deployment.
I can't stand it. I can't stand it. Here we go. Mr. Important. He is acting. He's a LARPer, live action role play. He is acting as if he's the lead detective on the case. He is acting as if he is the hub for information on the case. Wait until, just listen closely. He connects himself to the FBI in communications with law enforcement. Every single person, he claims, they come to him for help. They come to him for contact. They give him information, say, give this to law enforcement. And so he complies. This is crazy. And every one of these cases that he has been a part of, the FBI should go and open a file and start an investigation of his whereabouts and what he was doing. Did he know these people before they went missing? This is so eye-opening to watch. I'm going to be quiet now, but just listen for, I'm so important. They looked for me, or they gave me information to forward to the police, or the police came to me for help. This is LARPing. I'm telling you, nobody, this is not someone to be trusted, in my opinion.
I mean, they're tops in the world. U.S. Marshals, Homeland Security was there, and they got this lead. Now, we were told that they gave it to law enforcement the day after they spoke to the guy, but in the video it said the guy says he gave it to them a week earlier. So I don't know which is true, but either way, it would take FBI hours to verify that, because we were also told it was AAA. They didn't use the vague
it was
thing.
AAA.
Yeah, and law enforcement.
Okay, I didn't know that for sure. It was AAA. Okay.
Yeah, and after Adventures with Purpose was told to leave the site, the FBI came over to me, as did Nevada County Sheriff, and they wanted to know exactly what we've been told, about
They came to Steve-O because Steve-O is so important, isn't he? After Adventures with Purpose was told to leave, this man took a fine group of people with a great reputation that were doing an amazing service, finding on their own dime, finding people that had been lost for decades. And then this one case, and they're the ones that found this young woman. They're the ones that said exactly where they were, and they were Steve and the sheriff's department, the local sheriff's department. They said, no, our professional divers have already covered this lake. You don't have to search here, but you could try this lake or that lake. They were literally directed away from Kiely Rodney's car. Literally. You could see her car from the air underwater. Unbelievable. This is serious. This is so worrisome. These young people go missing, and this clown shows up. I mean, what are you doing, Steve? Are you taking photography? Like, what's happening here?
The AAA lead, and they use AAA. So, I don't know. I think they went out immediately, and they would have pulled that video. And let's say that they were building a case. If Jagger was on that video, lying to the FBI is a crime in itself. And he said he was in Napa. So they would have locked him up temporarily on that. They would have hold him on that because lying to the FBI is
threatening anyone to come forward.
I have some doubts about that, I guess is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Just what they're doing to Bobby.
Do you have any okay, so let me back up a little bit. So when you said when they told us, so did the family know about this tip then?
So that was told, yeah, because that was told to us in the first 5 minutes. When I got word that it was on social media that she had been found, the car had been found, I was with Kiely's dad and grandfather, and I got a call about it, and I had to tell them. And then we were 2 minutes from their location because we were up by the party location. We went down there, and in fact, they showed in the video, her father's on the quad runner going down, and then we're right behind him. And so he told us that story pretty quick because he asked, if you guys had to suspect anybody, who would you suspect? And, it was, and now it kind of makes sense that it was being recorded, like why those questions were being asked. But yeah, so the father and the grandfather both
there were cameras everywhere.
Yeah, that's interesting. So I don't even know what to ask because I know you don't think that there was any foul play, right? You think it was just an accident?
I up until a few days ago, let me define like what I can like when I say accident. I do not rule out, and I think it's very possible that there could have been somebody else in the car. There could have been a car behind them, and it could have sideswiped them, and then she goes in the water and it can't get out. I don't think that it was intentional. I don't think this was a intentional homicide. I don't think that she was killed and rolled into the water. I do not discount. I think there's a very good possibility that somebody saw this and they didn't know what to do, and left. But accidental in the sense that this was not meant to happen.
So you don't just so I'm sorry, I'm over here freaking texting people about the UFC fight. So do you think or not think the tow truck driver / AAA or AAA person, you think he's telling the truth or you think he's lying?
I don't think it's accurate. I think if he did indeed service a car out there, I think
again, Steve-O the Great, Steve-O the dude that the FBI, the U.S. Marshals, the Secret Service, they all rely on Steve-O. He is their go-to man. He keeps them all straight. Once again, Steve-O is going to say everyone else is wrong. You better listen to him.
That it was somebody else. I don't think there's any way to think that it was somebody else. I don't think there's any way because here's the thing: the phone pings. I was given the cell phone ping location when I got to Truckee, and it's 50 yards from where that car was found. So that means, and also,
yeah, you got to Truckee. They gave you the phone pings, and you redirected Adventures with Purpose. You convinced them to tell them to go somewhere else. You and that sheriff's deputy. I'm telling you, there needs to be a federal investigation into all these cases. Same MO, same nonsense. The big question is why? Why? You know, if he really is making $15,000 for each missing person, missing kid, if he really is making $15,000, well, how does he make a living when there's no missing kids? How does he make a living? How many of you have been paid $100 to go find a missing kid, much less 15,000?
So keep in mind, like the phone records, like the Verizon phone records, that they've been accessed, and so is their social media and everything like that. So the location, you know, so the phone has to go in the water. Before she went to the party, she stopped and got 2 gallons of gas. She was almost, and that was her normal kind of routine, like, you know, a 16-year-old, you know, being 16, you know, so they knew that the radius was
do you know where she stopped at? Which gas?
Okay, Steve-O, question. If you had a 16-year-old daughter in the mountains with very few available gas stations open after dark, would you want your daughter driving around on 2 gallons of gas? Because when I'm in the mountains, it's a rule of thumb, keep your car fully gassed in case there's a mudslide, in case there's a blizzard, in case the roads are washed out. You may find yourself sitting in a car for 7 hours waiting to be rescued from whatever the situation is. It is dangerous to be in the mountains in a car. It's an unpredictable environment. So, do you think, as a responsible, loving dad, do you think that you would only give your daughter $8 to go get 2 gallons of gas for her car? Or do you think you would want your child to have a full tank of gas before she goes out at night?
Gas station?
Yeah, so she lives by a not a Texaco, but she lives by at the end of Coldstream. If you look at it on a map, right at the 80 and Coldstream, there's a pretty sure it's either Chevron or it's one of those right there.
Oh, like a truck stop.
No, this is a regular one. Now the surveillance photo was taken at a truck stop. But she got the gas at a different. So they immediately pulled the surveillance photos from all the gas stations within what they figured was the radius that she could go on 2 gallons of gas, and you know, so nothing came up there. And they, you know, they got the AAA, you know, they've got all the dispatch records, they've got the video, they've got all that, and you know, as of 3 days ago, I know that I'll tell this. So I got a lead from somebody that emailed me a lead saying that they were aware that somebody murdered her, and they gave the person's identity and everything.
Oh my God.
It seemed like, I don't think it's credible, but I have to turn all that over to
because you're
FBI
so important.
So I contacted the FBI about 5 or 6 days ago and her family about it. The FBI replied back, you know, get a hold of Nevada County because we have it closed on our end.
Damn, the FBI told somebody to get a hold of a lesser?
Exactly, Ryan.
Of who?
Oh my God. This man really believes that he is so important. Like, he says this with full belief that we're all going to believe this nonsense. And he's doing the same thing in the Sebastian Rogers case. The big question is, why? Who is he? Why is he doing this? Wow. Yes, Ryan. Like, why are all these people contacting you, Steve-O? What makes you so damn special?
A lesser?
Oh, yeah. Well, they said that their investigation's, you know, wrapped up. So I mean, so it went to Nevada, and then Nevada did contact me about it, and then her dad talked to them about it, and you know, I know that the last word was they have no reason right now.
Are you a cop?
No, private investigator.
Damn.
But they have no reason to believe it's
Preach it, Ryan.
foul play. But
Wow.
You know, I can't say with 100% certainty. There's nothing that at the beginning, I definitely was leaning that way. I don't see anything that really.
But what about what AWP found though? Like, you don't find that suspicious though?
Yes, I do.
Which part?
Found, I think the passenger side window was busted out before.
Yeah.
Because there's only one pile of glass. Now that those divers are going down there, there's just one pile of glass. It looks like they flipped over the car.
Go ahead. Rewrite history.
So where did that window break out from? Like, I think something happened before.
So Ventures with Purpose won't talk with me anymore. So, but from what I heard on a live stream today or yesterday, that they actually clarified that the passenger window was down but not broken out. And what we were told when we arrived on scene is that the passenger window was down and that the rear driver passenger was 3/4 of the way down.
You see, that was really weird though, because you can see in Nick's video when he's down there at the car, you can see him take his hand and he's literally wiping the window. Literally. So, Steve-O, what do you make of that, buddy? Mr. Oh so important, or Mr. Popular. You want to be popular.
Get off.
Yeah, sent me a clip where today he said, or it might have been yesterday, I apologize. He seemed to walk that back and say, and this was actually I think it was on Grizzly's show. He seemed to walk it back and say that it was down. I don't know though. I mean, it does keep going back and forth.
Okay. He only did one interview, Steve-O. They just did the one interview. So how does he change it? How does he go back and forth? Kind of like your girl, Katie, kind of kept changing the story of Sebastian and the non-existent thud. Well, tell me, Katie, what did the noise sound like? Oh, I don't know. It's too hard to explain. 3 weeks later, or not, it's too hard to describe. 3 weeks later, so Katie, I understand there was a noise. Could you tell us a little more about that? It was a thud. Your girl, Katie, she seemed to be making it up as she went, you know? Kind of like you, Steve-O.
What if?
Well, he said that, I think he said that she called from somebody else's phone because she said hers was dead.
Yeah, but if she was dead, then she can't though.
But he also said, I mean, listen, I'm just pointing out something. He also said that he was there to service a dead battery, but then they figured out it was really that the car was in neutral, not a dead battery. But then he says, he told her to keep it running for 2 hours, but you didn't have to charge the battery.
Has it been verified that it was Kiely's car?
No, that's the whole thing. But my point is that the FBI went to AAA immediately, and they would have dispatch records. Whoever ordered the service would be a policyholder because that's an insurance product. The guy said that there's video, rear and audio. They went and got this information right away. I mean, they were on top of stuff. Like, I know that there was a guy that Kiely had met in Mexico, and they wanted, just because she had just briefly met him, they tracked him down.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, I didn't hear that. She met a guy in Mexico?
She was in Mexico on vacation, like a week before she went missing. She had gone down there with a Mags bomb, but they investigated everybody. Like, they tracked them down instantly and met with them. You can bet that something like this. I mean, I know that they did. They went out and pulled all those records, and the fact that they're not just pinging around everybody, they're not interested. That lead is not of interest anymore.
Did they
what lead's not interested?
Interview Jagger?
Sorry, Zab, go ahead.
Sorry.
Good one.
Don't forget your question, Ryan. But did they interview Jagger? Did the FBI talk to Jagger at all? Do you know?
Yes.
Oh, they did?
Oh yeah. They've talked to all. They've talked to. They've interviewed all the family, all the friends, and everything. Yeah. Oh, so everybody all the names that you'll hear, like that they are being mentioned, like Kate and even like Nate and all those people, they've all been interviewed. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they had 45 when I was at the hotel. I know they had 45 just FBI alone there. That doesn't include, there's 3 other agencies involved as well. I mean, they were talking to everybody.
Notice that he's one of these guys who has to tell you that he stayed at the same hotel as the FBI and marshals and all that, right? He's a special type of personality, where he feels special or important when law enforcement is speaking to him. Now, some people have that, like with medical contact, like they feel good about themselves, they feel empowered when they're having a conversation with a doctor or with a nurse. And these kind of people will like use the same lingo, words that would be used only with trained medical people. But these, neophytes, they'll just learn that lingo and then they'll toss it out and it makes them feel smart and special. But for Steve-O, it seems to be the law enforcement part of it, that if he has contact with someone in law enforcement, he feels validated. He feels like he's important. And, the sad thing is he's telling us that all of these law enforcement people, that they're all reliant on him and they're all going through him. And he has all this important, all of this important connection with law enforcement. The truth is, the law enforcement doesn't particularly care for private investigators, and the reputable private investigators that I know, they spend years and years like developing relationships with like the district attorney or prosecutors or lawyers that might be in that area, and then they'll make these friends, and then they kind of have like a team approach. So if the attorney gets a new client, then they keep calling the same PI to gather facts and information for them, and vice versa. This idea that you can just simply hop around the country and every sheriff deputy is just going to instantly befriend you and trust you, and they are going to become reliant upon you, that is a very strange thing. That is odd. So I can't quite work out in my mind, how is this man getting this this trust? Why are these parents, why are they so eager to trust this man? You listen to him talk, and he definitely talks it up big, like he's very special, like the law enforcement depends and relies upon him. But you and I know that that's not real. That's not true at all. Seth Rogers knows that that's not true. So what's his deal? Like, what's his gig? And why is he doing this? Is it simply to get narcissistic supply? Is he really getting $15,000, $700 an hour? I mean, I'm laughing because $700 an hour, you're talking about like physicians, right? Or rocket scientists, people that are very, like, they're brilliant. There's very few of them in the country. They have a very specialized skill set that most people don't have. That's the kind of people that command that level of remuneration. What does he do? Like, what is he? Just a really great manipulator. This is pitiful, really.
So once they found the car, they think it's an accident? Because
no, definitely not. I mean, they processed it. We were there a long time. They processed it as a crime scene. They told us. They said, this is a crime scene. And that's how they processed it. They brought in the FBI crime lab. It's a black trailer you see in the overhead shot. They brought that in from San Francisco. Took them like 3 or 4 hours to get it there. That was kind of the delay in pulling the car out. One of the delays of getting the car out. They definitely investigated it as a crime. I just don't think that they found anything that really suggests that. Now, listen, how she ended up there is I don't get. I've been there enough. It's a weird series of turns to make, unless she came down the beach from the other side. And the only way I could see that happening is if there was like other cars with her and they were playing around. They were known to kind of like fuck around in cars, and like.
What do you think? What do you think about the laptop guy?
That's so. So he called me when he found that, because he's like, I have no idea what.
I have a question. How are all these people able to call you?
That is so funny, isn't it? Oh, wow. That's such a good question. I mean, I'm sitting here saying, why does he talk to all these people and they act like, they're so dependent on him and he has to do all this, but I never stopped to think, how the hell did they all get your phone number, Steve-O? Like, sincerely, why would these people have your phone number? I didn't even think about it till just now with Upchurch. It, very good, very good question. Look at the look on Steve-O's face. What do you guys think of that? That is really fun, isn't it? Wow. Yeah, Steve, how do they all have your number? Yeah, I mean, my question is, why do they all think you're so important? But I kind of like the more practical question. How do they know how to get in touch with you? That's amazing.
Well, he's somebody, I met him when one time when I was out there.
He is let's see. How does he know? How does he know my number? Huh. Well, I've met him before out there, and oh, I gave him my number before, like before, before. That's so funny.
He had been searching and he DM'd me.
Yeah.
Well, he kept leaving comments saying, "I DM'd you, please check, and then he's like, "Hey, you remember me and this?" And I did remember who he was. And he said, "I found this laptop. I'm trying to get a hold of law enforcement. I cannot get through to anybody."
Wait. He calls you and he says, "Hey, Steve-O, do you remember me?" Yeah. Why, of course I remember you. How the hell are you doing? Well, look, I have been trying to get in touch with law enforcement. I can't find their number anywhere. And then I thought of you because, Steve-O, you know everything. Why do you think I can't find their number, Steve? Do you think law enforcement is hiding from we the people? Like, I looked everywhere. I called 911, but nobody answered. It just rang and rang and rang. And I looked on the yellow pages for sheriff's department, but nobody answered there either, Steve. Do you think law enforcement doesn't like me? Do you think when I call, they go, no, nobody answer it. It's the laptop dude. Shut up, Steve. This is absurd. How do you get in touch with law enforcement? Really? How do you get in touch with law enforcement? I'm going to say this, Steve. Of all the people in Houston, Texas, no less, that I wanted to get in touch with, law enforcement is the easiest. What is wrong with you? And more than that, what is wrong with people not following logic? This is just not believable. What the things that you are saying are, they are not realistic.
So I called Detective Sonier, who's the lead detective on it, and let him know about it. And then
so I guess you guys heard that. So let's go back because I did talk over Steve-O, and I know he's very, very important. And I know that you guys want to hear every single thing that Steve-O has to say. Well, because he's Steve-O, right? And he's amazing. The amazing Steve-O. So I'm going to be quiet and just listen to this again because, frankly, I can't believe my ears.
Oh, definitely not. I mean, they processed it, we were there a long time. I mean, they processed it as a crime scene. They told us, they said, this is a crime scene, and that's how they processed it. They brought in the FBI crime lab It's a black trailer you see in the overhead shot. They brought that in from San Francisco. Took them like 3 or 4 hours to get it there. That was kind of the delay in pulling the car out. One of the
That's
delays
not
in getting
true,
the car out.
Steve.
They definitely investigated it as a crime. I just don't think that they found anything that really suggests that. Now, listen, how she ended up there is I don't get. You know, it's a. I mean, I've been there enough. It's a weird series of turns to make with her, and they were playing
about the laptop guy.
That's so. So he called me when he found that because he's like, I have no idea what.
I have a question. How are all these people able to call you?
Well, he's somebody I met him when one time when I was out there. He had been searching and he DM'd me. Well, he kept leaving comments saying, "I DM'd you, please check, please check." And then he's like, "Hey, you remember me?" And this, and I did remember who he was. And he said, "I found this laptop. I'm trying to get a hold of law enforcement. I cannot get through to anybody." So I called Detective Sonier, who's the lead detective on it, and then.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so Steve, hey, do you remember me? Yeah, I'm the guy that found a laptop on the floor of the lake. And I can't figure out how to find law enforcement. I really don't, I'm looking everywhere for them and I just don't know where they are. And then I thought of you, Steve, because you are like very special. You are super sleuther. And so I thought, I bet if anyone could find the super secret contact telephone number to law enforcement, I bet super sleuther Steve-O can find it. So I think I'll call Steve-O and see if I can figure out if he can tell me how I might be able to track down somebody with law enforcement. I don't know. You'd think that the law enforcement would put their number out there. You know what I mean? You'd think they'd have cars driving around the city that have phone numbers on the side of the car. You would think that would be a thing. But no, we have to contact super sleuthers like Steve-O to get the number. So he calls Steve. Steve, hey, dude, you remember me? Yeah, I hope you're doing good. Listen, I found Kiely's laptop. I did. I was doing some free diving, didn't even have any air on my back. And there it was, right there. And now I got it. And, I don't know how to get in touch with law enforcement. That's right, Steve. I've got Kiely's laptop and I can't get in touch with the police. I've tried and I just can't reach them. Steve, could you help me? Please, I need your help, Steve. Oh, that's okay. Hey, look, I know a few people. Just give me a few minutes. I'll see what I can do. I'll see if I can find a phone number. I'll see what I can do for you, buddy. It's okay. Oh, thank you, Steve. Thank you. I don't know why cops don't make it easy to contact them with like 3 numbers. We could just dial like 911, something easy like that. Why does law enforcement hide from us? So Steve hangs up the phone. And then he pulls out his invisible super sleuther, the penultimate PI, hidden invisible phone book for all of those important law enforcement contacts. And he says, invisible notebook. I need to talk to the lead detective on the Kiely Rodney case. Call them now and then destroy after this call. What is wrong with you? Why do you believe that anyone believes this nonsense from you? FBI, where are you guys investigating this guy? And the laptop from the bottom of the lake where these two bozos can't figure out how to get in touch with law enforcement. Nobody
know about it, and
is
then
worried
I
about
called
this little girl.
Kylie's father and grandfather, and the
Unbelievable.
grandfather went out there immediately. And
Which
you know,
one is, just out of curiosity, and it's just because I keep seeing like different stuff on the internet. Which one is the dad and which one's the grandpa?
David Robinson is the.
He has mentioned this crack in the windshield above the steering wheel. It's a circular pattern.
Oh, yeah.
The window's intact.
Yep.
But it's obvious that window is dented.
It is so obvious that someone's head was knocked into the outside of that windshield. No question about it. Now, the curious thing is the super sleuther, penultimate PI, the greatest private 007 investigator of all time to ever have lived. I don't know. Somehow he didn't see that big old dent on the driver's side on the outside of the windshield. But I thought he was the greatest detective ever to live, the greatest PI of all time. Kind of missed that one, didn't you, Steve-O?
Crack,
Steve,
smash, however you want to word it. So I've always pictured this was a tragic accident. Having 4 daughters myself between the ages of 18 and 26.
Okay.
I can imagine them, God forbid, I don't know if she was drinking or not, but even if
She
not,
was.
okay, so we'll say she was drinking. Even if not, driving in that area, it just seems like it was a wrong turn. Maybe she flew, you know how even people have tried to go up that hill and they've gone down and gone into the water. It's almost as if she was maybe going fast, didn't have her seatbelt on, went up over that embankment, down, maybe unfortunately smacked into the windshield, knocking herself out, and unable to be seen. Ridiculous to even 12 hours with her car.
Yeah, why Steve, don't you find it weird that Jagger and Kate both are so mad at AWP for finding it? Like,
I do.
Their friend. Why are they so mad about that?
Yeah,
that looks guilty to me.
Well, I'm not super thrilled with them either. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I'm super grateful they found her. I think
is that right? You were super grateful. Is that right? Because you worked super hard to wave them off, right? You and the sheriff's department. No. We've looked here. Nothing to see here. Move along. Go to the next lake. The professional law enforcement divers have covered this area, and we have Steve-O the Great here as well. So, Adventures with Purpose. Just move right along. No need for you to be here. So, it's a really good question why it is that not only the boyfriend, the friends of Kiely, but also her parents were furious with Adventures with Purpose. I mean, do you think it could be because Steve-O manipulated the parents? Is that possible? And I've often wondered if that mother, her heart broken, her baby gone, but does she have a full appreciation in today's world about the living nightmare of never knowing where your child is, where your child went? Adventures with Purpose saved her from that misery, from that horrific nightmare. And because of Steve-O manipulating, misleading, and lying, the parents, the friends, they all hated the people that found her. They should have been hating these people right here, this one, Steve-O, for doing everything he could to obfuscate the facts, doing everything he could to mislead the investigators. The big question is why? We keep coming back to that. Why? Why are you doing this? Why are you telling the lies? Why are you misleading people? Why are you doing this? It makes no sense.
The notification process was bad. I think them throwing the family and other people under the bus on that is
No
is, I
family
think it all could have been
under the
done
bus.
correctly.
When you say
know?
throw under the bus,
I
what do you mean?
Yeah, I didn't see
Well-
them throw
I'm a little
anybody under the bus.
confused.
That's why I'm confused with
Well,
all
Well,
that.
because
Like,
they're saying that the family was notified, and they're saying the family's lying about being notified.
they were notified. I mean, they were notified the
That's
way
their-
that the contact info that they had, we seen. They notified the people that they had, and we
Mhm.
saw them tell the dad too.
But
though.
where? But okay, but I told the dad and brought the dad there.
Because you were contacted, correct?
That was you in
No,
the AWP
no.
video?
Yes, it was him.
Why was your face blurred out?
Because they know I'm going to.
Oh,
tell
that was
the truth.
you.
Yes.
I didn't even
Oh,
realize
yeah.
that
Well,
was
if
you.
they
that
know
was
you're going to
blurred
tell the
out.
truth, they're not
Oh.
going to
I knew that
still.
was him. Yeah.
So
Go find it.
again,
Wow. Okay, I'm
so he just said that Adventures with Purpose blurred out Steve-O's face because they knew Steve-O would tell the truth. So once again, Steve-O is in a position that he's saying, I'm the only one that everyone can trust. And all of these other people, they're liars. Why would they lie? They found Kiely and 100 other people, by the way. Why would they lie? Why would they want to? Why would they need to lie? They were on camera notifying the people that they had the phone number for, the people that they were told to call. And you came along and you lied. You're the one that lied, Steve.
a little slow now. I didn't realize that was you that was blurred out. Okay.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
feel like
But
I
also,
must have-
Mama Force theory.
If
If we were
to answer
16,
your question,
17, if
wait,
we
hold
were,
on. Let him answer the question. He didn't answer. Go ahead.
when you said they notified me or whatever, I don't know, that is not how we're somebody I work with in Tennessee saw it, an analyst I work with, DX Mystery, she saw it on Facebook, and it had been published like 28 minutes earlier. I got the call from her at 2:48 p.m. Saying,
The Spanish lady?
What's that?
The Spanish lady?
No, the Spanish lady. What do you mean?
No, never mind.
Oh no. So she said, and I was standing right in front of them. She's like, it's on all over Facebook. They found her. I was like, oh my God. And so I had to tell them, and then we went down there, and then so I know everybody's saying, oh, they told her, but that's not how it happened. It had been out for 25 minutes.
You're lying. You're absolutely lying. And the people that were watching it live, they saw when the boat was moving, when they got uncomfortable. It was impossible that it would be 25 minutes because Nick went down. They found the car. It went down. He went around like 3/4 away around the car, and you can see him rubbing the window so he can see in. He immediately comes up and he's shook, like he's very disturbed. And he motions to Doug, and he says, she's down there. It is the car, and Kiely is in the very, very back. And that is like within minutes, maybe 5 minutes, because Doug was like trying to comfort Nick. He was really disturbed. Like it was a pretty sad and tragic thing to see how it affected him, right? And so Doug says some words of encouragement. They kind of talk about it like, oh, this is really scary, this is not good. They're kind of looking around them like, are we in danger? Is everything going to be okay? And then he says, I got to make this call. And he picks up the phone and he pulls out his wallet. He pulls out the paper. He makes the call to the two people that he had their phone numbers. He did not have the phone number to Kiely's dad because that's not who hired them. Steve was not letting them do this. Steve was interfering. You don't need them. You don't need that. Why didn't Steve want her found? That's the big question. Why is he saying this nonsensical crap about Sebastian Rogers and Bobby? Why does he do this? Is there an ultimate real life motive? Like is there some kind of personal gain? Is this more like a personality issue, getting narcissistic supply? Or is it something far darker and sinister? It can't be a mistake when it's happening to all of these really big cases. It cannot be a mistake. It can't be a mistake. Riley Strain, he's there before anyone really even knows that Riley Strain is missing. And the man said that he had all of the video surveillance over 125 hours, and that he said this, he watched Riley go over and then into the water. He said that. He said that on a YouTube podcast. The camera was rolling. You can see his face when he says it. The problem is it's not true. Well, here you go. I guess it's true if he was there when Riley's body hit the water. I guess it could be true in that context. So what is it? I mean, sincerely, Stephen, what is it? Either you blatantly lied about being able to see Riley go into the water on those security camera footage. That was a bald-faced lie. Impossible. You did not do that. You did not see that. So either that was a lie, or you did actually see him actually go in the water. So you were there when he died. So then the question is, okay, well, if you were there and you saw him when he died, why did you lie to the police? So if you guys can come up with an alternative explanation, I'd love to hear it. How is it possible that this guy does the same shady crap in the Kiely Rodney case, Riley Strain, and now Sebastian Rogers? How? This doesn't feel uncomfortable to anyone else. And then he aligns himself with the likes of, Christopher Proudfoot and his sycophants. Something's wrong. Something very odd.
I don't know how they got the contact people numbers of the one they did, but that's not her blood relatives, and relatives
the number
were.
that they had.
What do you mean? What do you mean? The family members that they called, you just he said, well, I'm going to let you listen. I don't have to say it. Watch his body language when he says this. Watch.
They found her. I was like, oh my God. And so I had to tell them, and then we went down there, and then so I know everybody's saying, oh, they told her, but that's not how it happened. It had been out for 25 minutes.
Lie.
I don't know how they got the contact people numbers of the one they did, but that's not her blood relatives, and
why did he say it that way? Why did he sort of say it half under his breath? Well, so when I tell you who these people were that they called, you're going to be really shocked that he said this about, well, that's not his blood relatives. I mean, so the people that they called, the people that told them to come, the people that made contact and said, we want you here to help us look for Kiely, that was the aunt of Kiely that he called. He called the aunt and the grandmother. The aunt that was married to her blood relative uncle. So how bizarre is it that he says, well, that they're not even really blood relatives? No, but that's her aunt. That doesn't matter if it's blood or not. That's her family. It's so strange.
That's the number that they had, though. They didn't have the.
Who did they get it from?
I don't know, but that's probably the only contact that they had because that's what they showed. I mean, they were supposed to probably supposed to reach out and contact the other people. So when did they actually find the car? Because I heard it was 2 hours later.
Well, so I watched their documentary or whatever today, and if you look on their sonar, it has time on there.
Again, he's going to throw shade at the men that found Kiely. Now, the professional law enforcement, Steve-O himself, they had all been out there looking for Kiely for, I mean, I don't remember now exactly how long. Well, I guess I could Google it real quick. Hold on, so I don't put out, erroneous information. How long did law enforcement search for Kiely Rodney? Okay, here's a timeline of Kiely Rodney. Let's see if it'll tell us some information here. Uh-oh, it's going to be one of those that I have to purchase the dang server. Hopefully not. Okay, here we go. You want to know how long law enforcement? That means professional divers, searchers, the neighbors coming out with their boats. You want to know how long they searched? You want to know? 2 weeks. 2 weeks. With Steve-O on the case. 2 weeks. They had a last known ping. They had Steve Fisher on the case. They had the sheriff's department and the sheriff's department divers. They had a professional search and rescue diver from like Sacramento or something who lived in the area. They had countless numbers of locals in their boats. They knew the last known pings. They had several hundred of her friends that had attended the party with her. And yet they searched for 2 weeks. 16 years old. And Adventures with Purpose show up. Doug Bishop and Nick, they put on their gear. They go out, and they're out there about 35 minutes when they finally notice something. And by the time they get in the water and then come back up and process this trauma, they're looking at about an hour, hour and a half from the time they arrived. Think about it. And now this man is throwing shade at them. This man is manipulating not only her family, her parents. Now he is manipulating all of the true crime community. And all of the true crime community is just all falling in line at the time, not now, but at the time. They're all falling in line and like, oh, he's a private investigator. He's the greatest. He's so perfect and awesome and wonderful. And now we've got our third case with Mr. Fisher. And things are starting to look deeply disturbing.
And some of the time says 12, 11, and then there's.
Yeah, because Steve-O, frankly, I would think you would know this, okay? When you simply record, you've got a camera on you and you're just letting it run. It's recording anything and everything that you're doing. And then you have to let your producers go back and cut it up and edit it so that you can tell your story in an hour, 30 minutes, an hour and a half, whatever your time frame is allowed. But you know this, right? Like you're a fancy photographer of little girls, I think. So why you are acting like this is somehow a bad thing is quite revealing about the type of person you are, that you are exploiting something that is really normal and expected, and that we creators all know We all know that when you just live stream and you get 3 or 4 hours of content, you need to cut it down to 1 hour of content to tell a story if you really want to get it, mass exposure. Most people are not going to sit and listen to a 3-hour live stream. So why do you want to send this message? Oh yeah, well, they were clearly, recording at off times to make this a Hollywood production. You asshole. The Adventures with Purpose did what you and the entire sheriff's department, local police, state police, FBI, U.S. Marshals, and Secret Service didn't do. Think about it. They saved Kiely's mom and dad from the rest of their life being stuck in a dark, empty hole of wonder and fear. Where's my daughter? Is she being tortured? Is she loved? And this is what you do. Single-handedly, you did this. It takes someone with no conscience to be able to do what you're doing right here, not in the Sebastian Rogers case, but in the Kiely Rodney case. You also said that you saw Riley Strain go over and into the water, and you have taken the Sebastian Rogers case and interjected bald-faced lies to a point that most people that are just casually coming along and watching the videos, they have no idea what you're talking about. Those of us that are watching it closely, we see the lies and the deception, the manipulation, we see it. And frankly, I think Bobby ought to get an attorney.
Yeah.
There's other that says 3:30. So they obviously filmed. Some of that is just acting. They just filmed it after the fact.
Not after the fact. No, you don't know that it was filmed after the fact, big shot. It was probably GoPros that are simply running. They're just running. And so they were snipping and cutting the visual to go with the auditory communication. And that you're a jackass who was intentionally creating slander that will undermine Adventures with Purpose. That's the truth.
Wait,
maybe they were waiting to, but do you look at it? Why don't you look at it like they found it at like around noon and they contacted people and they waited for everybody to be informed before they did anything. That makes sense to me that they waited. Okay. Isn't that what you're asking them to wait? And wasn't that what they were doing? They were
so they put in the thing. When he's on the phone, it says Aunt, it says Lori on the screen, Laurie, and I put a statement out that I received from Lori saying she never received a call. So I don't know what
Lori?
I'm not going to talk.
That's who they said they called, the aunt. Now they edited that out. They edited that out, and they're saying, "Oh, we did that at the request of the family," but they edited it out because the statement came out. So I don't know. I would just wish they would be say, "Listen, they did a fantastic thing. They did an amazing thing. She would be a cold case if it was not for Adventures with Purpose."
Yeah,
there's no doubt. But why?
Is that what you wanted? Was for her to be a cold case? Because I'm going to tell you something. At $700 an hour, if you are legitimately being truthful about $700 an hour for these cases, Kiely Rodney could have been a real cash cow for you. I mean, it's interesting that the very minute that Adventures with Purpose called Aunt Lori and said, "We have her. She is exactly where the last known ping was." You were no longer working anymore, were you, Steve? Seems to me you have a real need to keep some of these cases going, especially families like the Proud Feet, where they've got financial resources to continue to pay.
Why now the family just feels like now we've got the whole internet turned against us because they think we're ungrateful when that's not the case. They're just like, we never gotten, to this date, they've never heard from them. And
Okay, I hate to point out the obvious here, and I'm sure hundreds of other people are pointing it out right now. What do you mean they never notified the family We didn't know. You're not family, Steve-O. You're just the guy that came into their lives and turned it into a living nightmare with manipulations for something that was life-changing anyway. The loss of your child, be it a son or a daughter, there's nothing worse. And then you come in manipulating to try to keep that paycheck rolling, right? I saw Riley go over and into the water. Man, I can't wait till the cops find out you said that.
Enforcement never got a call. They learned about it on the internet. On Facebook.
Who is blocking all the
law enforcement? Never got the call again. Wow, that is really impressive, Steve. So what you're now saying is that laptop dude, why, he just didn't know how to get in touch with sheriff's department at all, did he? And then Adventures with Purpose, those are some pretty handy fellows. I mean, they find people that have been missing for 2-3 decades, and not even they could find out how to get in touch with law enforcement. They can find bodies that have been submerged for 10 years, but they can't find the phone number to the sheriff's department. My goodness, golly gee whiz. If people would stop and think logically instead of giving you blind devotion, if they would stop and listen to your words, they would recognize something is really wrong with the narrative you're putting out. Something is really, really wrong. It's actually kind of frightening that you have the guts to get on camera and say this nonsense. I saw Riley go over and into the water. Can't wait till the cops hear that.
Now the family just feels like now we've got the whole internet turned against us because they think
oh
we're
my
ungrateful.
God,
when
the
that's
whole
not the case
internet is turned against us. You're not family, Steve-O. This is like some kind of like weird horror movie. You know what I mean? You know how they made that movie Single White Female, where the girl gets the roommate, she comes in and she's psychopath, like a killer. This is like a horror movie. This is like something, this is like the beginning of a horror movie building up, and this guy comes in and he ingratiates himself and he starts acting like he's part of the family. It's creepy stuff here.
Just like we never gotten, to this date, they've never heard from them. And law enforcement never got a call. They learned about it on the internet. On Facebook.
Who is blocking all the calls from getting to the law enforcement?
Well, Ryan even picked up on that. Thank you, Ryan. Yeah. Why? Why, Steve? Why can't the law enforcement? Why are they not getting these phone calls exactly? Why would someone try to reach out to law enforcement, say, we've got Kiely Rodney, and law enforcement just say, you can't have my phone number, nanny boo-boo. We don't want to help people in the community, so you can't call us when we're at work. We got to work. We don't want to be bothered by emergencies and things. Why, Steve? Why? Tell us.
Right.
Listen, I know they have Detective Sonier's phone number. I know they do because they were talking. They were in contact with them.
Oh my God. Oh my God. This man. Watch how long the wait is, the pause.
I think they did an amazing thing. She would be a cold case if it was not for Adventures with Purpose.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. But why now the family just feels like now we've got the whole internet turned against us because they think we're ungrateful when that's not the case. They're just like, we never gotten, to this date, they've never heard from them. And law enforcement never got a call. They learned about it on the internet.
Who is blocking all the calls from getting to the law enforcement?
Right.
Listen, I know they have.
And Steve, you kind of had a hard time figuring out an answer on that one, didn't you? That was a very, very long pause. Let's see what kind of lie you came up with.
Sonier's phone number? I know they do because they were talking. They were in contact with him before. He gave them the ping location and everything. I don't know why they didn't get home.
Steve,
But they're
why
also saying,
didn't the? Oh, I'm sorry.
but they're also saying that
Do you see that?
The-
I was
oh, I'm sorry.
stressed.
Location and everything. Sonier's
That was
phone number? I know they
stressed.
do because they were talking. They were in contact with him before. He gave them the ping location and everything.
Okay.
I don't know why they didn't get home.
Watch his
Steve,
head.
But they're
why
also saying-
didn't the? Oh, I'm
Watch his
sorry.
head.
but they're also saying
Boom, right
that-
there. Do you see it? That's stress right there. He is under duress right here. Watch again.
With them before. He gave them the ping location and everything. I don't know why they didn't get home.
Watch his head.
Steve,
But they're
why
also saying-
didn't the?
Watch.
Oh, I'm sorry.
but they're also saying
Boom.
that-
Boy, yeah, you better get nervous, kid.
the guy that found all the stuff at the bottom couldn't get in touch with the law enforcement either.
He couldn't, but he didn't know any. You know, he didn't know any of those people. And that's why he was trying to get a hold of me, and that's why I called Detective Sonier about it.
It's simply incredible. This should really be a huge. I'm speechless. It's such a unbelievable thing that we're watching here. This guy right here is the one who has now taken Bobby and said that her twin teenagers are the ones that made Sebastian disappear, and that her young adult son was hiding under cover of darkness, laying in wait, ... For what? Laying in wait for what? Hiding in the dark for what exactly, Steve-O? And this guy who is lying about Bobby, this guy who's lying about law enforcement not being able to get in touch, lying about Adventures with Purpose, lying about the family of Kiely Rodney. This guy with these two problematic cases is the same guy that 2 nights ago sat in front of a camera with his face exposed and said, I have the security footage, the video footage. I watched Riley Strain go over and into the water. He said it. This is the guy you guys are putting your faith into? Really? You sycophants, the AWP? This is the one? It's incredible. Man, you know what? I'd ask for a refund, Mr. Proudfoot. I'd ask for a refund on my $15,000, buddy, because this is the kind of man that will string you along for years.
He was calling the non-emergency line, and they were kind of bouncing him around. I told him either I can call
That is so interesting. He says that the man, the laptop guy, that he called the non-emergency line. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that exactly who Christopher Proudfoot called? Didn't Christopher Proudfoot call the non-emergency line in Sumner County? Right? I think. He didn't get passed around. That's weird, Steve-O. It's also very interesting because I called the non-emergency line in Kiely Rodney's case. I did. And interestingly enough, I did not get passed around. I got passed to the public informations officer. Isn't that weird? That's so weird, Steve-O. Why was I able to get to talk to a deputy, but the guy in the possession of Kiely Rodney's laptop, no less, why they just gave him the runaround. They just was, I'm going to lunch. Here, let me give you someone else. No, you need to talk to, well, let me pass you over. Here's a different phone number. I guess you better call them. Bullshit.
Error. I suggest just call 911. Don't be afraid to call 911 about that. And they did end up, coming out. They weren't going to at first.
Sorry,
So they did
supposedly
come
the
get
tip
this,
line
like-
wasn't working, right?
And you did not call 911, or the laptop dude did not call 911 because cops did not show up with their lights blazing, did they? It was simply a deputy sheriff who drove up nice and easy into the parking lot, and he got out and he said, "Hi, what did you find?" Man, this man, wow, he is a trip.
The what?
I'm just trying to take advantage of us having somebody who, you know, who's actually like a PI that was there, because we can ask a bunch of questions.
I probably know less than you hope, but
can
I mean,
we look at the timeline
Yeah,
again?
you
What we just
probably
talked
do.
about. So 12 o'clock is when they probably found her, right? And they
Well,
didn't
in the
notify
debrief,
you. Didn't know about
yeah.
it until what? Almost 3.
2:48.
They probably waited a couple hours before they posted it online, because they probably contacted the family, waited for family to get a hold of law enforcement, all that to happen. They waited 2 hours. It sounds like. I think that's a good amount of time to expect the great aunt. I think it was the great aunt, right? That was supposed to probably contact the family. They had the contact number that they had. They did what they were supposed to. They called the contact number, and they gave them 2 hours before they probably posted anything, right? So why is that? I don't understand how that's wrong. That's 2 hours.
Wrong.
It sounds
It
like,
is
almost.
not
If they
wrong.
can show they did that.
Well, you just said the time, so we
Man,
know
you
there was a
are
time
No.
between 12 and then 3,
slimy.
right?
Right, but I don't know that. Listen, they haven't produced anybody. If they could get whatever Lori,
And now this asshole is asking for receipts. The men that found Kiely, the men that we saw that were so disturbed by that little girl, that young woman in the back end of her car at the bottom of that lake, this man was sobbing. He said, well, he saw that shitty little grin on his face, right? Watch for the shitty little grin when he realizes that he can be an asshole. Watch his shitty little grin.
They called the contact number, and they gave him 2 hours before they probably posted anything, right? So why is that? I don't understand how that's wrong. That's 2 hours. It sounds like almost.
If they could show they did that.
Well, you just said the time. So.
Oh, you're so smart, aren't you, Steve-O? That's Duper's delight, right? When he has the realization that he could lie his way out of this, that he's smarter than Zav or Ryan or any of the others that are on the panel questioning him, smiles, and because he's smug, he's like, "Ha, can't catch me. I'm Tricky Steve. Slippery Steve-O." The men that he's talking about, who he's just outright accusing of being liars, these men that found her, that fought to find her. Don't forget that either. That the sheriff's department and Steve-O were telling them that they could not search in the lake where her last known ping was, that they would have to go search in other lakes. They fought to find her. They fought to go into the area where her last ping was, right? They did not want them there. I'm talking about Steve-O, law enforcement, the dad. They do not want Adventures with Purpose there. And in the end, thank God that they just took a deep breath and said, we are principled people. We are ethical, good, moral men. We're going to do this because it's the right thing to do. And if she's not there, she's not there. And it'll be done then. Unfortunately, it took minutes. They went nearly right to the location and then underwater, and there she was. And this asshole right here, the one who claims that he saw Riley Strain go into the water, he's now sitting there lying about them, calling them liars, and demanding that, they're going to be liars unless they're willing to give receipts to prove that they called Lori. And that's when he gave you that smile. This the guy you like? This the guy you want to trust and believe in? Why is Adventures with Purpose giving you, Steve, receipts? They found her. And they would not have found her had they not been men of principle, men of courage, men who said, F you, Steve-O, we're going in that water. right there. And we're going to go to the bottom and we're going to see if she's there at the last known ping. And she was there. What is still a little confusing, though, is why her laptop and other things were not exactly where the car was found. That remains curious, Steve. So I'd be careful if I were you. There may still be an ongoing investigation. You know what I mean, big guy?
So we know there was a time between 12 and then 3, right?
Right, but I don't know that. Listen, they haven't produced anybody. If they could get whatever Lori they called, I think that would be very helpful if we get a statement from that person.
Okay, I heard. It's been going around that I think it's the.
Now that
look at him grinning. What in the world could this guy? What? Why are you smiling? Because you're so pleased at how bad of a liar you are? This is so sad.
Change the name to LORI.
Yeah, Tony's dad's sister or something. It would be the great
right. It's a very distant step.
Still grinning as he this is Duper's delight. He knows he's lying. He knows that Zav and the panel have a good point, and he believes that he's outsmarting them. And that's where the smile's coming from. This is the same man who claimed to see Riley Strain going into the river.
Step relative.
That's
here's
weird.
Here's the thing: the volunteer the trailer where all the volunteers checked in and you picked up water and all the maps read and everything was right at the entrance of the process. The family was living there in a trailer. There was family there 24/7. It's very easy to get the number. The number was posted on the side of the trailer. So.
Oh, he's so pleased. He says, I got this in the bag, man. I got them. I got it in the bag. This is my lie. They're not going to undermine my lie. I got it. Except they did, in fact, call family. They called the phone number they were given. You know what I mean, Steve-O? So you can sit there and be smug all you want to, but you may or may not end up coming to the attention of real law enforcement, people that do real investigations.
I don't know.
Yeah, but they went by the number that they had because he did explain the difference between Lori and Lori.
How did they get the number? One of them was in Chicago.
All right. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable to go back and look at old footage of this guy. And then you look at what's happening now with Sebastian Rogers. You can look at what happened with Riley Strain. It is sad, but I thought very useful. And in context, this clip is so clear that perhaps the motives of this man may not be what he is claiming them to be. There may be something else happening there, because each case that he has gotten involved with, where we've been able to get, interviews on him speaking and such, he's a mess. He just is lying, and he has no qualms about telling lies about other people. So worrisome, And I do think, because he is so active in the Proudfoot, Sebastian Rogers case, I think that the Sumner County Sheriff's Department and TBI, I think they should know who the guy is. I think they should see these historical clips of the Kiely Rodney case. And then the things he said about Riley Strain, they damn sure need to know about. He literally is saying he was there. He saw Riley go into the water. He said it. I'm not making it up. It's on camera. So I don't know what to say. All right. You guys have a great evening. Talk to you later. Bye. I need to